Are you looking for more information on your NES test, like how it's scored and how to pass? The NES, National Evaluation Series, is a teacher certification series from the Evaluation Systems Group of Pearson that tests subject and pedagogy standards for a number of states across the U.S. Let's get into it. We'll go over everything you need to know about the NES, including how hard is it to pass an NES exam? How are the NES exams scored? How long does it take to get NES scores? What score do you need to pass the NES test? How long do you have to wait before you can retake an NES exam? And perhaps most importantly, where do you find study resources and study guides for the NES? First, let's figure out what we're working with. How hard is it going to be for you to pass this test? You can be smart and still fail. The NES exams can be difficult if you haven't prepared. Preparation is key. Most of the NES tests are multiple choice, but several of them also contain constructed response questions. These can be in the form of case studies or written assignments. Make sure you are prepared for these types of questions by ensuring you can organize your thoughts and write your response within the time allowed. One of the best ways to know where you'll struggle and how much preparation you need is to take a practice test before you begin studying. There might be certain areas in which you are very strong that you don't need to spend a lot of time on, but the majority of test takers will need to put in at least a few weeks of studying to do well on the NES exams. Check our links for a practice test right now. Next up, let's get into the nitty-gritty of scoring. NES exams are calculated by taking your raw score and converting it into a scaled score. The raw score is the number of multiple choice questions you answered correctly, plus any points from constructed response questions. The scaled score ranges from 100 to 300. The scaled score allows for a consistent standard across the board. While the number of questions on different administrations of the same exam will stay the same, the difficulty level and focus of those questions will vary. Missing a very difficult question won't hurt your score as much as missing an easier one. Converting raw scores to scaled scores allows the test maker to adjust for these variations. While you're taking the test, you might be tempted to convert the score and do the math yourself, but we don't recommend this. Focus on doing the best you can on the test. Okay, so say we've taken the test. How long does it take to get NES scores? If your exam is all multiple choice, you won't be waiting long. You will see your results at the testing facility when you complete it. That official score report will be released 2 weeks after testing, and in this case, it is not likely to change. However, if your test consists of both multiple choice and constructed response questions, it's a little different. You'll still see your score for the multiple choice questions immediately, but your official score report, incorporating the constructed response questions, will be released 4 weeks after testing. What score will you need to get in order to pass the NES test? The NES is scored using a scaled score ranging from 100 to 300. The national benchmark for NES exams is a score of 220. States that require or use NES exams can choose their own passing score. Check with your state to find out what benchmark they use. Now, if the worst-case scenario happens, how long do we have to wait to retake our NES exam? If you want to retake an NES exam, you must wait 30 days. To retake an exam, you need to register for the exam again and make sure to schedule the retake at least 30 days after your initial exam. You will also need to pay the fees again. Give yourself plenty of time to get ready to retake an NES exam. Analyze your score report from your original test to see what areas need work. Use the 30-day waiting period to focus on those weaknesses. We want to avoid that dreaded 30-day waiting period. So, where do you find study resources and study guides for the NES? The best resources for NES exams are study guides and practice tests that are frequently updated and aligned with the specific test you're taking. Experts knowledgeable in particular content areas write the study guides at 240 Tutoring. These study guides come with a guarantee you'll pass and include a free practice test. You can take one before buying a study guide so you can see where your strengths and weaknesses are. Check our links for the practice tests and study guides that are guaranteed to help you pass.